I don't know if they do psych evaluations on islanders before they let them in, but maybe they should start. Love Island Australia, Season 6, Episode 6 on Itvx. Taylor is trying to choose between Em and Alicia. He's telling the boys that he went on a mini date with Em and he thinks that they got on a deeper level, but he thinks Alicia's hot. So Alicia and Zante are outside the door listening in, and Alicia is raging. She's like, oh, basically he only thinks I'm hot. To be honest with the way she was acting, he could have said a lot worse. New bombshell Sophie is trying to choose between Zane, who she knows from outside the house and she's went with him before, but he's seen somebody in the house and the two of them really like each other, and Indigo, who's not really in a relationship, not interested in anybody in the house, and she says that he's a nice guy and she's trying to go for somebody different. So what really gets me about Love Island, and it happens in real life as well, but it's obviously amplified because it's on TV, is that when a bombshell or a girl is interested in a guy who's got a boyfriend, the girls are like, go for it, you like him, if he's the one, go for it, like, you're here for you. But then if somebody else does it to them, they're all the bitches and cunt bags under the sun. And it's just so hypocritical. And I think it makes it even worse on Love Island, because at this point they've known each other for like a day, 2 days max. And these women are clinging on to these men for like dear life. It's actually like really bad to watch. Obviously everybody wants to encourage their friends to go for what they want, but it's the women who are most like, go for it, you're here for you, do what you want. They're the ones who react the worst when it happens to them. At the fire pit, Sophie chose Indigo. I actually think she made the right decision. There's no point in going back and trying to go with somebody that you've been with before, especially when he's seen somebody in the house and they really seem to like each other. Then it was time for the girls to stand up and the boys to choose. Everyone stuck with their original partners except Taylor. He chose Em over Alicia. Oof. That is the best thing he could have done. Hannah was devastated. You'd have thought that somebody just told her dog had died. And I get that emotions are heightened in there and time passes differently, but it had been 2 days and Alicia was absolutely toxic. Now don't get me wrong, we've all got friends who are toxic to men or women, but with you, they're like a completely different person, and I understand that, but it was just way too much too soon. Obviously Alicia was embarrassed that she's one of the first out and that Taylor chose Em over her, but when she was in, like, is it the beach hut you call it? I call it the diary room. But she was like, oh, his loss, and the way she was speaking was like so aggressive and erratic, and it was really uncomfortable to watch. I definitely wouldn't want to be in a house with somebody like that. She's just volatile. Keep in mind that she's known the guy for 2 days, you know, so calm down, hen. When she was speaking to the girl, she was like, it is what it is, it is what it is. Like toxic positivity, when she was obviously raging. Maybe if she took the time to actually sit down and work through her emotions, she wouldn't come across as so toxic, and he might have picked her instead of him. Not to mention the fact that when he took her to the side and he was speaking to her, and he says, I don't want you to think that I don't like you, I do like you, I like both of yous. Like if I could merge the two of yous together, it would make the perfect woman. And she was obviously like raging about it. But she had then said, oh, I don't trust men or whatever it was. And she says, oh, if you want to look through your boyfriend's phone, look through your boyfriend's phone. That is it for me. Like, if you've got trust issues to that degree and you feel like you want to snoop in somebody's phone, honestly, the toxicity is like 100%. I don't understand why women think that they can come out with these things. They can eavesdrop on guys speaking and they can want to go through their phones and check their messages, but if a guy had the audacity to even think about doing that, he would be getting called all the toxic males and red flags under the sun. But when women do it, it's acceptable. Nah, I'm glad she's gone. The next day, Sophie's still conflicted between Zane and Indigo, and Taylor was like, if you like him, just go and ask him, you don't know if you don't ask. So she's walking about the house all nervous and she's like, obviously really like him because I can't even speak to him. So eventually she takes Zane to the side. This seems to be a popular look on Australian dating shows, but she takes him to the side and she says, oh, like, would you be interested? And even though he's saying Zante, he's like, oh, you'd be interested. Well, he's only known her for a couple of days, I suppose, but he makes out as if he pure likes her. Mimi was speaking to her partner Dylan when she got a text saying that she'd been chosen by a Love Island god to go on a date, and she was like, woo! and Dylan says, "Don't be so excited." So 2 seconds later, who gets a text? Dylan, saying that he was going on a date with a Love Island goddess, and the smile wiped off her face like that. And I thought, that's what you get. More hypocrisy, more double standards. Dylan went on a date with Sydney from Love Island USA Series 4, and when she went in, she was one of my favourites originally. However, the guy that she was seeing went with somebody else in Casa, and when she came back, she just forgave him way too easily, and it was actually painful to watch. Not only that, but I think that Love Island and other reality shows should do some sort of screen test with people's makeup, because all you could see on her was big massive bronzer marks, big blusher lines, like her lips were overlined to the max, and it just looked so bad. But when she didn't have her makeup on, it was a completely different story. I don't know if you watched Love Island UK, but in the last series when Nicole came back for Casa, you could see all her marks, and I was sitting watching it with a guy, and he says she doesn't even know how to blend her makeup properly, and I kind of thought, it obviously doesn't look like that in real life, because one of the girls would have said to her, you would never let your friend go out looking like that. It's clearly to do with the cameras, but it's just somebody needs to step in, a producer or something, and they need to go in and give them advice on how to do their makeup, because it just makes them look bad. Mimi was on a date with Steph from Love Island France, which I don't watch because I'm not French, but when she was talking to him, well, actually she was flirting with him, and she was saying, "Oh, I really like an alpha male." And see, when people refer to each other or themselves as alphas, it really just makes me cringe. It's such a primitive way of thinking. And as well, when women are like, "Oh, I like a really masculine man, I want somebody who can protect me." Protect you for what? It's possible that I only think this way because I do not like men to be too masculine, like to the point where it's toxic. It does nothing for me whatsoever. So anyway, she's flirting away with him, and I thought if Dylan came back and says to her, "Me and Sydney had a good date and we had a bit of a flirt," she would be fucking raging. I just don't understand it. Like, these things happen in real life all the time, but it's just so amplified on reality TV. There was a clip for tomorrow night's show, and as we know, usually the bombshells get to steal somebody. However, this is Australian reality TV, and they make up their own rules, and that's why I love it. Sydney and Steph are told that they're not just going to steal somebody's partner at the fire pit, but they'll be able to steal anybody's partner anytime. And I was like, oh my god, I love it when they change things up. I can't wait to see the next episode. Australian reality TV for me is a 10, an absolute 10. If there's any reality shows that you like and they've got an Australian version that you haven't seen, look it up. I can guarantee you, no matter what it is, it's going to be better. Let me know what you thought of last night's episode, and I'll see you again. Bye!